Back now at 7:43 with a medical mystery. 12-year-old Lauren Johnson can't stop sneezing. She does it on average about a dozen times a minute, and no doctor has been able to explain why as of yet. We're going to speak to her exclusively in a moment, and along with her mother. But first, NBC's Ron Maude has her story.
She just might be the most blessed person in America. Or perplexed. 12-year-old Lauren Johnson, you see, has a rather bad case of the achooz, a volcano of sneezing numbering, get this, thousands of eruptions a day.
I can't stop sneezing. It goes off about 8 to 9 times a minute.
And showing no signs of stopping anytime soon, coming literally out of the blue, as in B-L-E-W.
It was different, and I just kind of went with it, thinking that it wouldn't last as long. But it's been 2 weeks now, and it just hasn't stopped.
Might it be her beloved dog, Bo? The lush green grass they play on? No one seems to know.
Everybody's baffled.
Lauren's mom says a flurry of doctor's visits and medications have done little to solve this sneezing stumper.
Nobody really knows how to treat it, what's going to work, and even in cases where it might have worked or turned the sneezing off for a while, a lot of times it comes back again.
Desperate for answers, Mom even sought hypnotists and psychotherapists.
My place is just to help de-stress the family and guide them through the medical and mental health parts of this.
Still, the sneezing continues.
I've had to have homework sent here, and I've started to have teachers being sent here to help me with it.
All she wants, Lauren says, is to get back to school and for the sneezing to end.
It gets old after a while, going 3 or 4 doctor's appointments a day, but whatever it takes to get me to stop sneezing.
The only thing working so far? Sleep. For today, Ron Maude, NBC News, Atlanta.
Well, Lauren Johnson and her mother Lynn are here with us exclusively, along with NBC's chief medical editor, Dr. Nancy Seidemann. Good morning to all of you. Well, first of all, Lauren, you don't seem to be in any kind of pain. Is any other part of your body hurt, or is it just the sneezing?
No, it's just primarily the sneezing. I'll get maybe a raw nose, some of the tissues, but that's mostly it.
And this all started, you had a head cold along with your sister. Let me see if I've got this right. You basically were sneezing then, but not so much. You went to a sleepover. You felt better not to go to a sleepover. And then when you came home, you came back sneezing. What did you notice that made you realize that something was really off, Lynn?
Well, after she had the cold and seemed to be feeling better for a day, you know, the sneeze with the cold was a normal productive sneeze. When she came back from having a sleepover, it became a rhythmic, nonstop chronic sneeze. That's when we first really became alarmed a few weeks ago. So
something like 5 sneezes a minute to maybe more than that, maybe even 10, 20 sometimes?
Yes. Definitely.
And so the average is you know, you have an average for that, but then that's kind of accumulates something like 10,000, 12,000 sneezes a day.
Every week.
This is miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah? How would you say it's been pretty miserable?
Yeah.
Yeah? You've not been able to go to school?
No, they're saying it's a little too disruptive in the classroom. It's hard to focus.
And is there anything that causes you to sneeze more versus sneezing less?
No.
It just depends on what's happening. You can't control it by but you have been able to sleep, which is a godsend, right? You can get some rest. And what are the doctors telling you?
They say they have a couple ideas, maybe that it's an intractable psychogenic sneeze that she can't control, but they can't find any stressors or any trauma or anything recently in her life that would cause that.
Well, Laura, let me ask you about that. It sounds like there's some worry that maybe something might have happened to make you want to sneeze. Is there anything that you can think of that happened to you that made you emotional about something?
Nothing. School's been going great. Everything's been doing fine. I can't think of anything.
You can't think of anything. Nancy, you know, this is a very rare thing.
Right.
I mean, maybe 40 cases, I understand, maybe known. I mean, what do we know about this?
Well, I think we have to just sort of step back for a second. And, you know, and it's always very difficult when a family's brave enough to come on national television and sort of go through this. But if you peel back the layers of the onion, and you watch Lauren, she's sneezing through her mouth, not a real, as you said, as Lynn said, not a real productive sort of nasal sneeze, which raises the question, and we talked off camera, so this won't be a surprise between the two of us, that perhaps this is more like a tic. You have to think things like Tourette's syndrome. There are things like Munchausen syndrome, where people sort of make things up as a secondary gain, attention. Unusual for something like this because with Munchausen syndrome, it's usually belly pain, chest pain, and you want people to run tests on you. But children who can't stop, and it's not that she has chosen not to stop, she can't. It is now an involuntary tic that has taken over her life. It does bring up the psychological aspects of how do you get to that, and there are extraordinary child development centers in the country, having exhausted neurologists and ear, nose, and throat doctors and not found anything up in the nose. You have to then take the next step and say, okay, what is there going on that has a psychological basis that you can then zero in on and treat?
But you know, it's also true that if there are only a very small number of cases, that maybe finding the doctor that has treated that case might be useful.
Well, Annie, I just don't think this is a sneeze. So I think once you say you don't think it's a classic sneeze, then you have to say, what is it? Classic sneeze, you sneeze, your eyes close, and you know, you have some spray out of your nose. This is more coming out of her mouth into her hand, and it's involuntary. You can tell there's a rhythmic aspect to it, and that brings up the idea of a tic.
One of the reasons why you wanted to be on TV is because you hope that somebody who's watching might be able to help you, and you want them to help you because you want to, I understand you really like school and you miss your friends. Is that right, Lauren?
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about that, about how much you want this to stop?
It's been a long 2 weeks. I have seen my friends here and there, talk to them, but I haven't been to school, so I've had teachers come out, and I've had to do the homework at home.
You know, one thing we should say, in all the height and craziness of flu season, this is not contagious. Her friends should come over to the house. She can travel everywhere. This is not a, you know, sneezing on everyone. This is the time when this family needs support, and very important.
Very good point. Well, Lauren, I hope you get that support. I hope you get to hear, Lynn, from somebody who's listening, and Dr. Nancy, thank you.
You bet.
As always, helping us. And by the way, if you have a suggestion that could help Lauren from stop sneezing, we want to hear from you, so log on to our website, which is at todayshow.com.